Ave and Moriturite Salutant. Today it's time for Indie 5, Part 3 of 2018. I'm gonna present you 5 indie albums which are maybe not top-notch releases and by no means big releases. So 5 reviews quickly done in one video. And here we start first with German band called Blood. This is one of those cult names from already back in the 1980s, which are now getting another round of re-releases. As you can see, pretty nice digipack released by Abduction. And those of you who don't know what Blood is all about, well, it's death grind, make no mistake. There are lots of bands with the same name, but this one is from Germany. And the style is 30 minutes of death grind with boneheaded, simple, brutal, kind of a raw way, and that's it. So lots of tracks in 30 minutes, and that kind of gives you the idea what this music is all about. Now, this was already released in 1983, their third album, and that's exactly when Blood was doing, well, if not the best material, their most active years were done in 1990s. Started as a demo band in 1986. The band quickly evolved into a album-making band, but in the 2000s there are only a couple of albums which were let out, and maybe that kind of gives you the idea what's going on. Now, this third album is basically very simple death grind, and it's kind of B-series band to me, if you know what I mean. The thing here is, be it about, you know, songwriting, vocals, production, just everything is very, very mediocre. Those songs are not in fact very bad, but it's kind of like they are quickly done. And so you're kind of lucky to get them quickly passed. I mean, like, even if the album is just like 31 minutes or so, it gives you the feeling that maybe some of these tracks should have been let out and put this one out as a mini CD. Now, the thing here is the bands are not very skilled in creating what they're doing. So this is one of those kind of a cult releases from a cult band that maybe once a day deserve more attention. But then again, when I think about this release, it kind of gives me the creepy feeling that maybe not. Maybe it's just good that this band is not so active anymore. To be honest, I don't know why Dunkelheit Productions decided to give this another re-release with a nice digipack, but who knows? Maybe there are fans of this kind of boneheaded material, and if you're one of them, well, go check them out and maybe you like it. For me, it's pure mediocrity, and I cannot really recommend that to anybody except for a collector who has missed this album before. 25 years. Nice timing, but no cigar. Now, the second album comes from Italy. It's Horrid, and the album is called Beyond the Dark Border. Also released by Dunkelheit Productions. Now, Italy is not usually one of the big names of death metal. So this comes as a kind of like a positive surprise, being a old school stuff, you know, with the 1990s Nordic vibe. Everything is kind of a mid-tempo, very simple design, basically for fans of Entomb, Dismember, Protest, Grave, all that stuff. So, not creating exactly anything new as such, but then again, delivering quite a nice album for those who are enthusiasts about the genre here. I mean, it's not like too many 1990s kind of death metal albums are out there, especially when it comes to Italy. And Horrid is kind of celebrating this kind of a retro death metal in quite a nice way. Just everything from, you know, vocals to production, which is actually pretty strong. It's just nicely done. The vocals are the type of crawling you're grown to expect from any band that was already doing their stuff in the 90s. So, while it's not very modern, it's still very good modern way of showing how it would have been done if 1990s, especially the early years, was going in death metal. So Horrid, definitely a must check out for people in the old school death metal. It's not next Morbid Angel or Cannibal Corpse, rest assured, but still quite nice an album, so go for it if definitely it's your cup of tea. Now this one comes from France, it's called Hyrgal, and what a nice digipack release Ladlow has put out. I think this is very nice looking release, all in all, and it kind of gives you nice feeling what's going on with the album. Unfortunately, everything kind of fails when you kind of get good listening to this. Now, my first time listening to this Hyrgal's Serpentine was when I was, driving a car, and I was like, maybe this is the reason why I don't get the strong vibes from this album, even though everything is basically there. Kind of a dynamic, kind of a, progressive black metal with lots of atmospheric parts, fast blasting and all that stuff. And I was like, maybe I don't just figure it out because, I'm driving a car. And even though my car has, I think, better than mediocre sound system, well, it still doesn't, do justice to all the albums out there. So when I was listening to it at home with my proper stereo equipment, I was like, really, is that everything there is to it? I mean, it's not like a good production can actually make a difference when the, songs are quite, not mediocre, but hardly better than that. Now, the album of kind of sounds nice. I could even go fantastic. It is one of those albums that has, this strong feeling of good production. Nice, shrieky vocals and, strong atmospheric intro. But then it kind of feels like the sand just running through, your hands, between your fingers, and you're like, what is left is exactly a good production. The band, in theory, has made a good album, but it makes me kind of feel hollow and empty, because none of these songs are exactly anything good. It's the kind of stuff that plays on the background nicely, and you're like, okay, this is a good album, but when you actually start paying attention to the songs, songwriting, compositions, and all that stuff, you're like, this is not exactly that good. The good production just kind of creates this illusion of a strong album. So this is one of those albums that when you go to a record store, put your headphones on and you just give it a couple of tracks a good listen, and you start feeling like these French guys know exactly what they're doing. Nice atmospheric, kind of a progressive, modern black metal. Kind of a soothing, not too aggressive, but surely some faster parts. And when you go home after a couple of spins, you're like, this is not going anywhere. There are no memorable tracks or whatever. It's just empty. Sorry to say, I kind of wanted to like this kind of album more, but the songs are not there. It's not captivating. It's not hooking me in. I give it a pass. This one is a kind of a boring release in a physical format. This is a CDR, just slipcase promo of Mind Abduction, Comet. If I remember correctly, this is their second album from Finland. And the previous stuff was kind of a nice attempt to create a modern death metal, modern melodic death metal, or kind of a melodic metal with adult-oriented rock, AOR that is. And then some progressive elements and all that stuff. Nice clean vocals, and then some Crowley parts and all that stuff. And this is kind of the attempt to take the next step with Comet. Basically, theoretically speaking, everything is just what I just described. Everything is there in place, except that album is not very good. Now, this is one of those albums that kind of annoys me. It gives me the promise of, good vocals, which are there, nice production, also there, talented, playing the instruments, also there. But the songs are just giving me kind of a feeling that I am just not getting the taste. It's like a meal that is just looks nice, is visually stunning, the smell is nice, but when you actually have the taste, it's like, well, okay, but I'm not gonna order this the second time. And the reason why it annoys me is that basically, like I said, theoretically speaking, this kind of a modern melodic metal with some death metal parts, some AOR, some progressiveness, even some experimental ideas, it's all there. Just not the songs are exactly good. But they are not like totally bad either, so this is definitely beyond mediocre, so like in the midway of quite okay and mediocre. So kind of like something that I almost managed to like, but I don't. And it kind of bugs me, because Comet could have been kind of a breakthrough album for this band. But it's just a feeling that this band got way too big a bite and they couldn't handle it. It seems like this album is failing when the editing process kind of starts. So they have the great riffs here and there, they have great musicians, great singing and all that stuff, good production, but when the pieces are about to put together, it's just like, okay, I've had it, I don't know how to make this puzzle, piss off, and it's all that. So Comet, kind of a slight disappointment, but then again, I don't know, maybe someone with more sophisticated or more acquired taste for this kind of music might find this very enjoyable. Definitely some acquired taste material, I've no doubt about that, but still I wish it was a little bit better. Sorry to say it, but no cigar. Now, last but not least, we have yet another Finnish band, and this is kind of a weird release considering that the band themselves consider this a debut album, but this is CDR copy combined with a tape. Yes, classic tape here. So this one is Napalm Ted called Mouthful, and CDR release is what we have here. Just like very simple, you know, white paper, Xerox copied covers and all that stuff when it comes to the CDR version. And inside we have a tape also for those of old school wipe, even some stickers, even some Bandcamp download code, and then obviously real tape covers with old school wipe. One can almost smell the grindcore there, because that is exactly what this is. Some ass-kicking bad mentality grindcore in an old school way. Think of like Rotten Sound, earlier Napalm Death, and all that stuff, and then you have quite a bit of idea what Napalm Ted is all about. Now previously this band has done quite a few mini releases, MCDs, demos, whatever, just, you know, kind of a DIY way, you know, with their CDRs and whatnot. And well, they've been, you know, with aggressive grindcore stuff, really, you know, true to their roots and all that stuff. So basically creating exactly what grindcore fanatics are all about. I'm not saying this is a A-class band as such, but definitely much better than so many already recording bands for big labels and whatnot. So I kind of feel like Napalm Ted has now deserved their spot in the limelights. It's one of those bands that, if you are into grindcore, I mean pure grindcore, not some weird ass modern hybrids, this is the band you should be checking out, even if it's not the proper nice looking CD or LP or whatnot, but this kind of a cheap CD or tape version. But these guys have the aggressiveness, they have the production, they have the vocal cords that are just, you know, about to explode from sheer brutality of, you know, screaming and whatnot, those vocals. So one of the better ones on this batch, this and Horrid, Napalm Ted and Horrid are the one clear winners on this batch. And even though they are not big names, you might consider one to check them out, because, well, these guys know what they are doing, and even if their production is not top notch, at least they are not, you know, halfway there. They are better than that, so go check them out. You will find all the links below and more description and whatnot. So go check out yourselves these samples, and hope you like some of them. Maybe you do, and if you do, and if you don't, I don't know. Drop a comment on the box below. Thank you for watching. See you soon with more Rauta reviews. Cheers.